everyone, my name is Pastor Matt and I'm the pastor of Genoa Kids. I want to welcome you to our elementary volunteer instructional video. This session is for anyone who will be volunteering with kids from kindergarten to the 5th grade. Now if you're watching this, you're either about to start helping out in Genoa Kids or you're considering it. First off, let me start by saying thank you. The purpose of this video is to tell you why we do what we do, and it's also to give you an idea of what a typical Sunday morning looks like. We want you to be as prepared as possible for when you start your volunteer rotation. So let's go ahead and begin. So why do we do what we do? Our mission at Genoa Kids is simply this. It's to partner with parents to reach kids for Christ. We believe that the primary influence in a child's life is still their parents. Think about this. As a kids pastor, I see most of our kids about 1 hour a week. That's 52 hours of influence that I have with that kid in a year. Now think about this. How many hours does a typical parent spend with their kid in a year? It's a lot more than 52. At Genoa, we see the importance of children. We know that they're not only the future of our country, but also the future of the church. The way children are shaped and taught at a young age will have great consequences in the future, good or bad. This is why we recognize the importance of having a ministry that not only gives the kids sound biblical teaching, but also a ministry that teams up with parents to have a greater impact on the lives of kids. The philosophy that we've adopted is known as Orange. Now, orange is the blending of two influences to have the greatest impact possible. Think of it this way. When you combine the color yellow, which we'll say represents the light of the church, with red, which represents the love of the family, you get orange, which represents the church and family working together. Think of the impact that we can have on a child if we team up with their parents and work together with the same goal in mind. This is where you come in as a volunteer for Genoa Kids. We aren't interested in you merely showing up and teaching the kids a lesson. It's way more than that. We want you to consistently build relationships with the kids in your group and become an influence in their lives. This means getting to know them personally. It might mean going to one of their baseball games or even one of their talent shows. Volunteering in Genoa Kids isn't something that we take lightly. We aren't just looking for warm bodies and crowd control. We're looking for people who want to make a difference in the lives of children. People who are passionate to see kids grow in their relationship with Christ. If you're that person, you've come to the right place. Now with all that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the different volunteer positions that we offer in Genoa Kids. If you want to be involved in Genoa Kids, we have a couple different roles that you can serve in. There's small group leader, the drama team, worship team, or the outreach team. Let's go ahead and look at each one a little closer. I would say the most critical position that we offer in Genoa Kids is that of a small group leader, or an SGL, what we call them for short. An SGL is someone who leads a group of about 8 to 10 kids. Every Sunday, the leaders are given 2 to 3 activities that review the large group lesson. They also take prayer requests, they talk with the kids, and really they just love on them. The best SGLs show the kids that they care about, each one of them. One time a boy in the 3rd grade came up to me and he told me that he had a baseball game the next day. I got excited, I asked him what time the game was and that I'd love to go see him play. And what was funny is he looked at me and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Pastor Matt, I actually wanted to see if you could ask Cindy if she could come to my game." Now Cindy was his small group leader. She saw him every week at church, and because of that relationship that she built with him, he wanted her to go to the game instead of me, which I'm still a little bitter about. Anyways, the activities that the small group leaders lead, they're important, but the most important job is building relationships with the kids and making them feel loved. During the large group portion of a Sunday church service, we love to have skits. Kids love seeing us get up in front of them and act crazy and like fools. If you're someone who loves to act or write script, this position is for you. Each month we have a new theme, so the possibilities of new skit ideas are endless. For example, we did a spy theme one month and we were able to do some James Bond skits that the kids loved. We want kids to remember Bible stories and lessons that we teach. A great way to reinforce these lessons is through these skits. So once again, if you have any interest in being in our drama team, let me know. I love to see kids worship. One thing we try to do in Genoa Kids is give the kids a place where they feel comfortable worshiping God. Every Sunday we set aside some time for the kids to reflect on the lesson by giving them the opportunity to worship God through song. We're looking for people to join our worship team who can bring energy and teach the kids the importance of worship. When I was trying to think of ways that our church can bring families together, one of the first things that came to my mind was outreach. If we can get parents and kids to go into the community and show others the love of Christ by serving, I'm convinced that great things will happen with that family. Now, doing outreach together as a family is not only going to bring them closer, but it'll teach kids at a young age the importance of serving others. If you have a passion for outreach and would like to plan some of these events, please let me know. So what can you expect on a typical Sunday? Every month we have a different theme in Genoa Kids. Along with the theme is a virtue or a life app, as we call it. The life app is an attribute or a characteristic of God that we teach for the entire month. All the Bible stories and all of our lessons all illustrate this life app. For example, our previous life app was endurance. We taught the kids the importance of sticking with something and not giving up. We illustrated this by the story of Jesus dying on the cross for our sins. Jesus realized how important we were to God, and because of that, he stuck with God's plan, which was for him to die on the cross for our sins. Jesus could have given up at any time, but he showed endurance and he didn't give up, no matter how much pain and humiliation he suffered. So you see, every month we focus on that central theme and that life app. Now let's go ahead and take a look at how a typical church service flows. Every week we start our service with free time. If we're being honest, parents don't always bring their kids to church on time. And because of this, we spend the first 10 minutes of the church service in free time. Now, what's cool about this is it doesn't only give kids a chance to play and get comfortable, but it gives our leaders a chance to hang out with the kids in a relaxed environment. When you arrive at the beginning of the service, you're going to pick up your binder that contains all the small group activities for that day. It's going to be on the resource table in the back. So after free time, we break into our opening small groups. Pretty much what you'll do is you'll do one activity with your 8 to 10 kids during this time. Some activities need supplies, but everything that you will need will be provided for you at that resource table. If you want to see an example of a leader packet and what that looks like, click on the link below. Now typically the opening activity is simply asking the kids how their weeks went and also preparing them for the upcoming lesson. This time is important for helping kids feel relaxed and welcome, especially if it's their first time attending. Opening small groups typically go on for about 10 minutes. When all the groups have finished, we gather together for the large group portion of the service. At this time, we lead the kids in worship, we play a large group game, and we teach the lesson. The only responsibility of the SGLs during large group time is to supervise the kids and making sure that they pay attention during the lesson. Sometimes this is easier said than done. So anyways, when the lesson is finished, we break into our small groups for the closing activities. We normally do one activity at the end, but if time permits, we'll do a second. When the activities are finished, the small group leaders will take up prayer requests, they'll pray for the kids, and then dismiss them for free time. So in review, the service goes just like this. Free time, opening small groups, large group, closing small groups, and then end with free time. We try to keep it very easy. One thing I've learned about volunteers is that all of us need a break. No matter how much we love being involved. Because of that fact, we've set up 2 rotations that will hopefully prevent you from getting burned out. The first rotation is this. You work for 3 months every week, and then when your 3 months are done, you take the next 3 months off. Then when the craziness starts back after your 3-month vacation, you see. The second rotation is to work for 2 weeks, then take the next 2 weeks off. You follow that schedule throughout the whole year. Whichever option you choose, you're only working for half the year. Working with kids can be very rewarding, but if we're honest, it can be very stressful sometimes. This is why we put you guys on a rotation. The last thing we want is for you to be burned out. Well, that's it. You've made it all the way through our training video. Hopefully you've gotten a better idea of what Genoa Kids is all about. If you have any questions or want more information on anything I mentioned today, feel free to email me at mclark@genoachurch.org or give me a call at 740-965-8616. That's my church line. So once again, thank you so much, and I can't wait to see how God is going to use you in Genoa Kids.
Awesome.
That's it. All right.